Hello, welcome back to Learn Oikonomia. Today we are going to look at a very important topic which is Great Gatsby Curve. Have you ever heard about this? The Great Gatsby Curve? Even though the name appears to be a little complicated, actually the underlying relationship which is being established by this curve or this idea, it's relatively simple. Let's understand what it is. The Great Gatsby Curve. The idea of Great Gatsby Curve was made famous by a very famous economist, Alan Kruger, and this person was the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors. From this itself, you could understand how influential this person is. It was his notion, it was his contribution that made the Gatsby curve great. You call it as Great Gatsby curve now. Alan Kruger, he has expanded his research, and his research was something about forming a kind of association or relation between two aspects. And these two aspects and the relationship between these two aspects would form the Great Gatsby curve. Let's see what are these two variables. The first variable is a nation's income inequality. So to be simple, the first case is income inequality. The second variable that we have here is relationship between children's and their parents' income. So the second case is income of children and parents. So as per this curve, or as per this concept of Great Gatsby curve, some Nordic countries have low inequality. And for the very same reason, these economies have got low tendency or low elasticity to fall at the bottom of the curve. Let's see how does the Great Gatsby curve look like. You will be measuring the income inequality along the x-axis, and you consider the generational earnings elasticity along the y-axis. You can see that from this point to this point, your income inequality, this is increasing. And in the case of generational earnings elasticity, this is also increasing from this point to this point. This is how it goes, like every other curve. Now, again, what we can infer from such a curve, such a Great Gatsby curve, is that whenever there is more inequality, there exists a larger gap between the rich and poor. Isn't it? So that is what we consider as inequality. Inequality in the income means the gap between the rich and poor will be wider. Gap between rich and poor, this would be wider. That is what we mean by more inequality. Now we have to consider, in such a case, what would be the scenario with respect to generational earnings. And what do you mean by generational earnings? The earnings of different generations. Earnings of different generations. The generation of your parents would be one generation. The generation where you fall, it's another generation, your parents' generation, your grandfather's generation. So that is how it goes. And your children's generation, that is how it goes. Okay. So what here we have to do is that just compare the income of your parent and your income. You have to compare your income with your parents' income. So, or else you can see that you can compare the children's income with parents' income. So, if you are doing such a kind of comparison as per the Great Gatsby Curve, if you are in a place with more inequality with respect to income, then if at all you're poor, if you are poor, this is the case of you, now you are poor, your children will be more poor. This is the case with your children. Again, try to understand, we are talking about a nation or a place where there is more inequality. More inequality. Let me repeat the very same thing. If you are in a place with more inequality and if you are poor, in such an instance, you can see that your children will be likely to be more poor. And this is what is established by the Great Gatsby Curve. As I've told you, the curve establishes a firm relationship between the present prevailing income inequality. This is something that we consider the prevailing situation, and it shows how it would be hard for the children of low income parents to move up in the economic ladder. And whenever you do this, you have to do this in relation to the parents' income, parents' economic situation. Countries with high income inequality will definitely have a tendency to have low upward economic mobility. It is something that is almost impossible for such nations to come up as soon as possible. So they will be struggling, these countries will be having so many pressures, struggles, etc. Only after dealing with all these things they could come up. So that means this will affect the opportunity for future generation to come up in the economic ladder. So the future generation will also be having a poverty. They will also have poverty, or they will be much more poorer. That is all regarding the Great Gatsby Curve. I hope you could understand the concept and idea behind the topic of Great Gatsby Curve. I request you to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Also, you can be a part of our Telegram community. You can join it for free by clicking on to the link given in the description box. Also, you can download the Learn Oikonomia app. I'll be providing the link of that too in the description box. That's it. Thank you.